Today's video is brought to you by the good people over at patriotpost.us. They are a fantastic source of news, information, op-eds, all that good stuff. And a link for them will be in the description box. So when you head over there and subscribe, tell them that ABO sent you. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today I bring you a recap of the fourth Democratic presidential debate. This time it was held in Westerville, Ohio at Otterbein University, which is right outside of Columbus. Now, there's a whole lot to quote-unquote unpack here, as the cool kids would say, but first, I got to tell you who was at the debate. We have Joe Biden, Cory Booker, Pete Buttigieg, whatever, Julián Castro, Tulsi Gabbard, Kamala Harris, Amy Klobuchar, Beto O'Rourke, Bernie Sanders, Tom Steyer for some reason, Pocahontas, and Andrew Yang. That is your 12 Democratic presidential hopefuls who were on stage. Now, there's a whole lot to get through. I think we should start first with the very first topic, or one of the first topics, which was Syria and the Kurds. As we all know, Trump has taken troops out of Syria, and people on the left and the right have criticized him for leaving the Kurds, quote unquote, vulnerable, because they were our allies when we were over there fighting in Iraq and other places. I don't really buy into that, but let's talk about what the Democrats said. They also criticized Trump, and for some reason they want him to still remain over there, or for him to not take troops out. But if you are against foreign intervention and foreign wars, why would you be for troops staying over there? I really don't understand, especially the main person who was against foreign intervention and foreign war, which would be Tulsi Gabbard. She said that Trump had the blood of the Kurds on his hands. But look, the Kurds are going to be fighting regardless. Either we're going to be over there fighting with them, or we're not, and they'll be over there fighting by themselves or with other people. Regardless of what, they're still going to be fighting. Fighting has been happening in that part of the world since the beginning of man. We're not going to be able to go over there and fix anything related to that. We're going to be over there just giving certain sides an advantage that we're already going to be fighting regardless. But for now, I digress. I thought it was interesting to see the Democrats also quote people like Mad Dog Mattis as it relates to how they would handle foreign policy would be concerned. I think at least two guys, it might have been Beto and Cory Booker, that quoted Mad Dog Mattis. And if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below. But that was very interesting. You know, people on the left would say the Republicans are warmongering. They want to go over there. They want to be like Dick Cheney, and, you know, but I'm seeing a whole lot of warmongering on stage at the Democratic debate last night. But we'll move on. Bernie Sanders was there, and he didn't look that bad, but he didn't look that good. No, people were talking about, oh, he looks so great, he looks strong. Not really. Okay, he's still 78 and he looks every bit of it, and he had a heart attack. So don't say this man looks good and he looks strong. I'm hearing that AOC is going to endorse him. I mean, I think I understand the reason why. It's because he's the most extreme left person that they have. But at a certain point, you know, this guy's not really going to be able to make it, let alone actually be able to succeed in the primary. So why would you hitch your wagons up to that horse that is pretty much on his last leg? I don't really know, but we'll move on. Joe Biden looked worse this time. I did not think it was possible for him to look worse, but he definitely looks worse this time. I mean, he looks confused. There were moments of him lashing out in anger.
When you register it, the likelihood of it being used diminishes exponentially. I'm the only one that got moved to make sure that we could not have a magazine that had more than 10 rounds in it. I got votes for that bill. I convinced people to vote for it. So let's get those things straight, too.
He's not doing a very good job. I don't think he'll drop out anytime soon, but he honestly should, because this is not really going the right way for him, in my humble opinion. If you think that he looked great on stage, like he was just some kind of rock solid person, you let me know in the comments, but I didn't see it. There was not a whole lot here as far as any kind of substance. You know, of course, they talked about impeachment. That was a big thing, but they're not really going to get anywhere with that. I saw Nancy Pelosi right before the debate. Interesting timing, by the way. Right before the debate, she says that there's not going to be a vote on the impeachment process anytime soon. They're not going to have that vote. So I thought that was pretty interesting timing because, of course, that was going to be a topic, and Nancy Pelosi pretty much squashed it right before the debate. There was also an interview with Hunter Biden. I think that might have been on ABC, NBC, one of these three-letter outlets. And he basically said, hey, don't hate the play, hate the game. Shout out to Charles Payne from Fox News for that. Basically, like, look, I'm independent person. I'm a private citizen. Whoop de whoop. I can go over here and get money. So what? Yeah, I know my name helps me get into doors, but it's whatever. And of course, Joe Biden was asked about that, and then he said, "Well, my son, his interview speaks for itself." So I'm pretty sure that was coordinated. So this whole thing about, oh, well, I did not tell my dad about the Ukraine deal. I doubt that 100%. Because I can almost bet every dollar to my name that they spoke about this particular debate and what to say and how to say it and all that before it happened. I can almost guarantee you, and it wasn't just them two superstars. One guy, Joe Biden, looking like he's pretty much got one foot in the grave, and the other guy, a crackhead or drunk. I don't think it was just them. They probably had other people, advisors, consultants that helped with the whole thing. But again, I digress. Joe Biden didn't look good. Bernie Sanders looked okay. Pocahontas, in my humble opinion, is the front runner now. She was on stage. She looked pretty confident. She wasn't frazzled. Amy Klobuchar looked kind of frazzled. She was shaking. Like, I don't know what that's all about. Is it some kind of medical condition? I don't really know. But she looked frazzled on stage. Medical condition or not, she didn't look very well. Pocahontas looked good, just being honest. As far as being a Democrat, now, would I vote for her? Absolutely not, because their policies were totally crazy. Everybody on stage was for abortion. Some would say, oh, well, I'm not for a third term. Some would say, whenever you want to get an abortion, it's up to you. But they were all for abortion. Nobody on stage is going to be anti-abortion. I heard the idea of decriminalizing opiates come about. I think that might have been Yang Gang who said that. Decriminalizing opiates, like that's going to help with the opiate crisis. It doesn't make any sense because the story was out there about first responders continuously reporting to the same person over and over again to save them. How are you going to change that by making opiates legal? It does not make any sense at all. All you're going to do is make the problem worse. You're going to become like San Francisco, Los Angeles. People just shoot drugs outside in front of kids and defecate on the ground because there's a lack of any kind of, any kind of moral fiber, any kind of standards upon which people have to be held. Maybe it's okay to say, hey, sir, you can't be shooting drugs. You can't be smoking meth. Just maybe. When you don't have that, you have degradation of society overall. It ain't just about the drug. It's about total society. And speaking about society and the degradation of it, did you guys see that Atheist ad? Look, I'm not against you. If you're an atheist, that's your prerogative. I'm like an agnostic, so not quite atheist. I think atheism is a religion in itself. Check out this ad.
Hi, I'm Ron Reagan, an unabashed atheist, and I'm alarmed by the intrusions of religion into our secular government. That's why I'm asking you to support the Freedom from Religion Foundation, the nation's largest and most effective association of atheists and agnostics, working to keep state and church separate, just like our founding fathers intended. Please support the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Ron Reagan, lifelong atheist, not afraid of burning in hell.
Now, this was shown multiple times. I saw it at least twice, bare minimum twice, and I was really struggling to pay attention. So it may have been more times than that. I think they only had maybe 2 commercial breaks, 2 or 3, because it was a 3-hour event, and then they would go for like an hour before any kind of break. So I think this ad was shown in both of the breaks, or more if there were more. It might have been shown before the actual debate came on, but I digress. I'm not afraid of burning hell. Really? That's what we're going to say? Just really crazy. I feel like it was an attack on Christians that are watching it. You understand what I'm saying? I just didn't like it. It was really weird. But at the same time, hey, we watching CNN. This is a Democratic debate. This may appeal to many of their viewers, godless people, and people that are not only godless, but will attack religion. I did not like that. And I thought I had to mention it because that was a really striking thing, but we'll move right on. Cory Booker tried to like speak up and interrupt to certain points, but nobody really cares because he's not in any kind of way a front runner. I think you even have Bernie Sanders, who had a heart attack at age 78, above Cory Booker, which is pretty sad, but we'll move right on. The thing about Yang, he was fear-mongering automation, talking about, oh, truck drivers are going to be out of a job because they're automating trucks. Well, quite frankly, there is a shortage right now of truck drivers. So this whole thing about, oh, they're not going to be any more jobs, it's just fear-mongering to push this whole thing about UBI. $1,000 a month, how much money is that really? Especially when everybody has it. You're going to devalue cash by giving it out to everybody. And it's not even a whole lot of money right now, to be quite honest, if you don't have any other means of revenue. So, I mean, it's kind of a pointless thing. It's a gimmick to get them some attention. Just like Tulsi Gabbard and her whole anti-war thing is also a gimmick. You want to be anti-foreign intervention and anti-war, yet when Trump fulfills a campaign promise and gets troops out of the Middle East, you want to be against it? There was more here, but I'll just skip to the end. They were asked a question about who's your most unlikely friend, you know, because they're capitalizing on this whole thing with Ellen and George W. Bush. It might have been Tom Steyer, who, like, I don't know why he's still there. Like I said in the beginning, he has a bunch of money, so I guess that's the only reason why he's in the running. I don't really get it because he has no chance. Anyway, he was talking about I have a person that is a different race, a different gender. It's like, why does it make them unusual? I don't really get it. Let's talk about ideological differences. But either way, the question was like something you would get asked in middle school when you got a sub that comes in and says, hey, what do you like about your neighbor that's sitting next to you? You know, one of those things. It was really weird for grown adults to be asked that kind of question. Overall, the debate sucked. I would say it was the worst debate I've ever seen in my life. It was boring. Softball questions. The moderators are pretty much non-existent. I felt like they could have just got on stage and had a conversation over some dinner and it would have been better. This was terrible. CNN sucks. The presidential candidates, the hopefuls, they suck. It was bad. It wasn't even the moment where I can just look at and have some kind of joy or entertainment. Like, you know, the whole Spanish speaking kerfuffle, no protesters, no nothing, no juice on stage, no fire. It was a couple of moments like when I think Beto and Buttigieg were arguing over the Second Amendment and guns. They weren't even really arguing. They were just saying which is a better way to go about taking guns away, taking gun rights away. It was not a good debate. Out of a 1 to 10 scale, I give it a 0. It was bad. I struggled through it, so you don't have to watch it. And everything I said here is pretty much it in a nutshell. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Did you watch the debate? What is your opinion about it? Who do you think came out on top? I think the front runner here is the same as it was before the debate, and that's Pocahontas. Nobody made themselves any more popular. They didn't gain any more ground. They didn't say anything new. Maybe there's too many debates. We need to go ahead and get to the primary and just get on with it. Do the individual town halls with certain people on different networks. And that should be the way you judge people. These debate formats with no fire, boring, 3 hours, way too long, people falling asleep, it's not a good format. But am I wrong with my breakdown of the events? Are you going to watch it? Is what I said here enough for you to not watch it or to watch it for yourself? Whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.